PowerOfEvil, so I would expect him to have priority against this Zilean, but as Zilean gets enough levels, you get to a point where you have enough mana and you have enough cooldown reduction and damage with these bombs that you can kind of just infinitely clear out the waves and hold that, I think, relatively, to par against PowerOfEvil.
All right, well, wave clear mid lane power going to be in there for PowerOfEvil. That's going to be fun to watch for. Actually, looking at his sort of historic win rates, of course, it has been a lower win rate overall for him. Welcome back, of course, to our ESPN viewers. We are heading into the game start very, very soon. Champs have been locked in. Pewee is on a signature pick in the Viktor, but it's actually not a very winning one for him. If you look back at his history, it's actually one of his lowest win rate champions that he plays a lot of. I noticed that the Orianna was up, for example, not opting into that one that's a bit more comfortable, not only winning, but more commonly picked for him, but says, okay, Viktor is the kind of style we want here. Definitely intrigued to see how the marksman jungle pick comes through here, because Svenskeren's really not been playing champions like that. He had one Kindred game historically on the season so far. No Graves games, of course. Graves has picked up a couple of buffs over time, and cool to see a kind of fresher face in the lineup.
It is really interesting, and I do think it's specifically against that Trundle that it is really effective, because Trundle was picked not as an answer to the opposing jungler, it was picked as an answer to the opposing top laner, right? It was picked as an answer to the Ornn, which gives Svenskeren the ability to actually go for a matchup that he can abuse in that jungle 1v1, and the marksmen are really good at doing that. Kindred is really good at doing it. Graves is really good at doing that. You can out farm that Trundle on the Graves, you can get in his face and out duel him if you have the red buff and kite him out, use the quick draw to get behind the pillar and actually use that against that Trundle. So I think it's a very exciting pick, pairs well with a lower damage profile of the Zilean and the Ornn too. Should be really exciting game one.
Yeah, you don't have the easiest armor stacking on the FlyQuest side, of course, right? Because you're looking at the fact that, okay, Aatrox top doesn't really want to buy a ton of armor when he's currently having to face against Ornn, who's very magic damage heavy. You're not going to rush an arm guard on, you're not just going to get armor on Viktor really in general very much overall. And so, yeah, you actually may have a decent chance that, probably see a mid-game Black Cleaver on the Graves, but you don't have to do it. But even if your damage is primarily marksman heavy and it's very physical heavy, may still be enough to kind of keep up just because there isn't that super durable front line. That said, I think there's still a lot of tools here on the FlyQuest side, of course, right? It can look really, really good with Blitzcrank roaming around to the mid lane. Zilean doesn't have the best escape tools overall, and we really might see a lot of pressure down there, right? No inbuilt flash, so we can't get away from Blitzcrank hooks easily. Can't get away from like a flash punch up either, and the Trundle pillar sets it up as well. So I can kind of see mid lane pressure working really, really well for FlyQuest.
Even in the 2v2, it's actually really scary for Taric, because people think of Taric as this tank and sometimes group him in with the Brahms and the Nautilus and whatever. But Taric generally is building pretty squishy. You're going for things like redemption early on. You often do not play Aftershock because it's harder to hit that dazzle. So you are actually fairly susceptible to just hooking in that Taric and actually just focusing him down in that 2v2. So I do think that there is the ability not only for them to bring Santorin down with a pillar to set up a hook, but to converge on that mid lane as Mark Z was kind of wanting out of FlyQuest. If you show up with the Trundle, you pillar in the Zilean, slow him down, that sets up for an easy hook to at least force out a flash there from Jiizuke. And I do think that largely this game will depend on the playmaking of IgNar, and I think that's kind of just how Blitzcrank works. If you are ahead and if you are dominating vision, you can make this champion look incredible, and if you are behind and they see you coming every time, this champion looks like garbage compared to something like Taric.
Yep, going to be definitely interesting to watch for. I'll be having my eyes on, of course, top lane as well. We saw Solo absolutely dominate Kumo in his two earlier Ornn games when they last played a couple weeks ago. I'm expecting more of the same, so I am very curious exactly where the pressure does come down, because FlyQuest has the chance at really aggressing on any of those three lanes. That will be fun to watch for. Do want to point out, for those of you wondering why you're still seeing our faces and not gameplay just yet, we do have to build up a gameplay buffer for competitive integrity. That is almost done soon. We had a bit of a slow start to the game for some checklisting issues, but within about a minute's time, I think we'll be ready to get into that game yet again. And I want to sort of talk about some more of the EG side of things then, as we are going to first, now that the teams are ready to load onto the Rift, we're ready to watch. Let's check out. Welcome to Summoner's Rift, everybody. A best of 5 between Evil Geniuses and FlyQuest. The loser takes third place. The winner faces Cloud9 in the LCS 2020 Spring Finals. and we're going to see in this game who starts out better in this series. You've got to win 3 of the 5 games. We play them all today. We're going to figure out who takes at least top 2.
A lot of starting out better in this playoff series is going to be about the emote selection, because I saw them popping some emotes. So if you're going to be good with the emotes, you have to have the right choices. You have to have, you know, maybe the surprise crab in there, you know, maybe the little popcorn eating emote. You know, some of those ones are pretty good. The monkeys are always a favorite. But we are going to get an early invade here with the sweeper, and this is something I really like because it does threaten a potential invade, and they actually wanted, I think, to give that experience to Jiizuke. That's why they were delaying so much on the sweeper, but it was going to expire, because giving that to Jiizuke would mean he would get to level 2 on that first wave. That 1 minion earlier can make a pretty big difference sometimes in those mid lane matchups, but a couple of really interesting things to point out already. So I talked about kind of the preferential matchup of Graves, this marksman, into Trundle. He's going phase rush to even further extend that, because this makes it so that Trundle really doesn't even have that pillar slow. You know, the pillar is not going to hold Graves in because he can dash over it, but now you have phase rush to actually remove that slow and to be able to kite back and forth very effectively against that Trundle, which makes it even more difficult. And Jiizuke is also playing Glacial Augment, so this is going to be Super Soaker Spooky Ghost. This is going to be about the slowdowns. Not only does this set up for things like the Dazzle stun from the Taric, it obviously makes it very easy to land those double bombs, and it's just largely very effective against melee heavy teams. And we see that there are 3 melee champions over on FlyQuest, so you know, if Blitzcrank is trying to run in for an engage, or Aatrox, you can slow them down with those Glacial Augment actives later on in the game, and you know, play it more for the control, which is really powerful.
Yeah, any telegraph teamfight in general, not only with just the GLP out of Jiizuke's Zilean, but also even knowing for Zeyzal that he needs to pop his ulti and get ready to kind of re-engage. Anything where it's super telegraph, really impactful, really helpful, because a lot of these things do want some setup or to build some time, and that can look really nice. Early push is going Kumo's way, shoves into the turret, can actually deny Solo a lot of this farm. Kumo got almost the entire wave, and Solo misses half.
Yeah, Solo got a little bit greedy trying to CS every one instead of just accepting that he was going to miss some of those and prepping the next. Like, sometimes you just have to make that choice that, no, I can't get this, and you just skip that minion, allow it to die to the turret while you're prepping the other minions to get them in a position. A little bit of a snake, but not too big of a deal. Only a couple CS early on, not going to be that big of a difference. But yeah, no, I agree. I think, you know, in those kind of telegraphed fights, the Glacial Augment can be very powerful, and something that people don't always talk about that much with the Spooky Ghost is actually how effective it is to help you ward, right? It allows you to actually scout out areas, you know, to find out if they are camping in a brush, so that you can pop that active, then your team sees that is clear, you can move in, and it really does help to allow you to secure some more safe vision.
All right, well, taking a quick look around the map at how the early lanes have gone. Santorin's going to get top scuttle. The bottom one already went to the Evil Geniuses side with Graves and co down there. Bot lane pretty close in farm. Solo's pushing top back down again with Santorin in tow in case there is a gank, but it looks like it's still going to be Kumo winning in farm early on. Mid fairly close, junglers have equal amounts of camp, so a fairly mundane early game, with the exception being the pleasant surprise of Kumo doing well in this matchup very early on.
Yeah, and I think both teams have a good idea of what's going on. You could see Kumo committed to the hard shove in the early levels. That was because he knew that his jungler, Svenskeren, was going to be clearing towards bot. And in those situations where you know your jungler is not going to be topside, you actually want to bounce the wave early so that it pushes back towards you while the enemy jungler is up there. That is because the wave will then naturally push towards you. So you can basically just AFK at your turret, be safe from any potential ganks, and still know that you will have that farm coming in, that you can collect that golden experience safely on your side of the map.
Yeah, and all was well for him. Honestly, Kumo having a decent start early on. We'll see if that changes around. One of the things that Solo got praise for when they FlyQuest subbed him in the top side over Viper was not just his individual play, but his communication as well. That he was actually better at calling for resources and, you know, kind of letting people know what he wanted to do with the lane. So we'll see if there is anything else done up in that lane, or if it's going to remain an island for a while. And if it is an island, I think that kind of tends to favor Kumo. It tends to favor the Ornn, and it's a good thing for Evil Geniuses. So interested to see what this turns into down the line. It's not always kills at level 3 or anything, but we'll wait around, as oftentimes playoff games also tend to be a little bit slower as well, as the pressure is on. And now that both teams are on the losers bracket, they've got to make sure that, okay, like, there's no more room for mistakes, there's no second chances. This is the last best of 5 you play if you lose it.
Yeah, and I also think that because neither team is playing some like hard commit early style of game, they don't need to get crazy, right? It's more comfortable to look back and scale, as both junglers will spot each other there. But, you know, as long as there's no sort of collapse coming. Oh, nice hook on a Zeyzal.
Yeah, the root setup was really, really nice. WildTurtle had landed, I think, the Infernum Q and was able to set up for Gravitum, or at least he landed something else for Gravitum. And Bang knew he was rooted, so Zeyzal stood in front and said, I'll take the hook for you, don't worry about it. Keeps him safe. Svenskeren tries to go for the solo Drake, but Santorin's actually able to spot this one out, and note that it's not going to happen there. One camp lead for Svenskeren. They've both gotten the same recall off, and now once again pressure towards the bottom side, looking at what IgNar might find. Ignites there, stun's not going to land. There is no way out for Zeyzal, and for good measure, that's going to be Santorin claiming the kill, but here come the teleports. Svenskeren is here, so is Jiizuke, but he's a half health on Zilean. That is not the kind of TP you want. He donates the kill, and a hook means nothing. FlyQuest up to a 3-0 start. What a tragedy for Evil Genius.
The wheels fall off for EG. Oh my god. Jiizuke TPing in. He couldn't get the ult off, or maybe spent too much mana. He looked very low on mana there, so I'm not actually sure if he even had it after using those double bombs. But yeah, that was just really smart from FlyQuest. Graves basically saw Trundle on the bot side of the map, knew Trundle had no camps there. So Svenskeren is saying, great, I can seek a dragon. But Santorin had hung around, and he spots him out. So Graves got pushed out towards mid lane, meaning they could have the early start on a 3v2. So they go in, they're able to kill off Taric very early on. Jiizuke is TPing for the help, but you know, by the time he's here, the fight was already lost. And he's not even able to get the ult off. Even if he did use the ult, he would have just re-died. So this is pretty brutal. And now the roam here on Jiizuke mid.
He's at least got flash, and the ulti's up this time around. Gotta take some minion damage. He's gonna get the health bar back. That was appropriate. He had about another second or so, so not too much danger onto him. Gets most of the minions back. Sadly has to lose the cannon in the melee, but honestly, not the worst situation, right? Trading your ult for a roam on mid lane, I think it's generally okay. Okay, IgNar's not pressuring mid too much anymore. All right, now he's back. Here comes round two. This time Jiizuke has flash, and he has the move speed to get away from the hook.
Yeah, it's not the worst to trade out that ult. That is one of the things that Zilean can do. As long as you're in a good position, the ult is very effective at absorbing those types of ganks. If you're out of position and you ult, then usually you just die again unless someone's coming. But, you know, good job by him being able to absorb that roam. But, you know, FlyQuest off to an incredible start early on as, you know, EG committed both TPs to the bot side and still went 0 for 3 and lost Dragon. So that is a pretty monumental deficit off of what was, you know, play that was essentially started by Svenskeren. It was them trying to start the Dragon. It was them trying to get an advantage in this jungle matchup. But it is Santorin who's way out ahead.
And time and again, they just keep showing up the mid lane. That is within about a minute's time, 2 Blitzcrank ganks and the Trundle gate coming down. That is the ulti down, Jiizuke outplayed one, and then he has to burn flash now for the next one. And yeah, to your point about the double TPs being burned, yeah, sure, I technically PoE and solo also burn their teleports. Sure, it was an equal threat of summoners. But a lot of the times when like a really good gank comes down to the bot lane, it's, well, they sent all 5, they burned teleports, now it's our turn to burn cooldowns, we can find a play somewhere else. In this case, that doesn't exist. EG don't have any inbuilt sort of buffs on their side, nothing else special they can use to try to get back. They're just simply down 15, 16 gold and have to kind of weather that storm.
And PoE actually just TP'd back to mid lane. He didn't even TP bot.
Oh,
it was only solo that match. So, you know, that just puts it even more in their favor. Despite the fact that it's still even on farm, you know, that's a good job by Jiizuke. When he's TPing away from lane, his opponent is TPing to lane, and he has been ganked, what, 3-4 times already? So, you know, good job by him to stay even, but FlyQuest going to be really happy about the early situation. You know, they grabbed Riftshell, they grabbed Dragon, and they are the ones who are supposed to be on the back foot in this jungle matchup, but it just goes to show how quickly things can change when Svenskeren overstepped a tiny bit, and FlyQuest made the most out of it. And this is kind of what can happen in that bot lane matchup. Also, you know, I talked about the ability to just focus the Taric. You know, Taric is fairly squishy, fairly easy to take down for Blitzcrank if you can actually, you know, hook him in and have your jungler there. So something that EG are going to have to be really, really careful about, you know, going forward.
Alrighty, so we get a bit of a reset on the game. TP's back up in about 2 minutes here, and we still have the same roughly 2,000 gold lead as the next Drake spawns in 90 seconds. FlyQuest still feeling pretty comfortable. First enchant or augment done for PowerOfEvil in that mid lane. He's feeling pretty comfortable. Jiizuke on his way towards GLP. That'll be done probably after the Drake spawns, so we might see FlyQuest get 2 early on. I gotta say, I like the items on WildTurtle a bit better. That's gonna look nice. 14 CS lead top lane for Solo. I think his items aren't gonna make that big of a difference up in the top lane, as Rebel Vest makes Kumo fairly tanky up there. But for now, we're just gonna have the farm going back and forth. The early Herald, we'll see what that gets summoned, what they can pick up. And now Svenskeren, making the first move we've seen in a while, has tried to sneak into the bottom lane, but I believe he was seen doing so.
Yeah, I think so too. And Jiizuke again getting picked on here. He's going to be able to walk it out, but Santorin, I think he just decided that PoE wouldn't be able to catch up. PoE, it seemed like, just wanted to kill that ward, but they're going to dive bot side, having seen Santorin mid.
Going for the hard dive. Taric ult is on. There was no counterattack. What a great dive coming to the bottom lane. IgNar left alone, but Zeyzal gonna have to be ulted out. No! He's silenced. Bang! And they might get another kill into the turret as well. Now a dive to the top side. It will kill off Kumo. Ends up being long-term a 2-4-2, considering top lane dive answered one back.
Nicely played by IgNar, though, in the 1v3 to get that kill. As you say, it was the well-timed Blitzcrank silence preventing Bang, it looked like, from using that Kalista ultimate to actually save Zeyzal. But on top side, they're just going to straight up take the tower. So Kumo, having TP'd away from lane, got nothing. His opponent got a kill, now gets dove. And they're going to donate a lot of this tower gold over here to Solo. He is going to be so far ahead off of this help from Santorin.
22 CS lead, all 5 plates in first turret gold, not to mention the other 2 kills on top. Yeah, you're going to have a really hard time top side for Kumo. He's going to do his very best. He's going to lose some health in this turret first. Yeah, he can knock down afterwards, but oh my, top lane difference is happening already.
All right, so let's see this one more time. They can make this dive happen because they saw Santorin mid, so the pressure that Jiizuke absorbed afforded them the opportunity to do this. Well-timed Taric ultimate. They started off very, very well. And you're probably wondering, why doesn't Zeyzal just run away? It's because he's expecting the Kalista ultimate. But that timing on the silence from Blitzcrank prevents that from happening. They kill on top side, they take the tower. That means they can walk Solo down without even having to TP him into this dragon. And it's going to grab them their second dragon also. And Solo will lose a little bit of farm topside, but it looks like it's only even part of one wave, and he'll be up there to collect the rest, so not too big of a deal, and FlyQuest just playing this early game incredibly well.
I want to give even extra credit praise to how Zeyzal played that dive, even in just like very minor timing things. So he used his shield and heal first, and then started the ult midway through the dive. Turrets deal increasing damage over the course of time. The first 5 shots deal less the next 5 shots. So he tanks the first few, then starts the ulti. That way, when he's invulnerable, it's during the most deadly part of the turret itself. It actually blocks more damage that way by casting it late. Yes, again, we know Ben got silenced. That was all really rough at the end. But even optimal ulti pacing saved that extra like couple of 2 turret shots worth of damage and worth of time.
No, I think it's a really good point. And the other nice thing about that is when you actually use the heal, and the shield prior to using the ultimate buys you time to actually be using your passive autos and recharging those heals during that, so then you can heal yourself back up from the damage you had taken previously. Zeyzal will get hooked back in here. He actually could be in trouble. They're TPing down, so Bang's gonna have to ult him out, I think.
Kalista, if they need it, versus Sun into IgNar. It's going to force flash out, and there's Kalista to get him out. Now is there a re-engage. Good flash grins by PoE into the re-engage. A ton of damage towards Bang, but he's back over the pillars. And Santorin is now left alone. And Kumo, gonna look for the knockup, gonna airball it entirely. Hits nobody with a knockup, but Svenskeren is there for 1 kill. So far, 2 picked up on the side, as they're gonna trade blows back and forth. Suddenly, EG have lost 4, and FlyQuest are all over the place, taking kills, taking names, and taking another team fight victory.
Yeah, I mean, the solo laners were there. There were extra members were there so much faster for FlyQuest. I was honestly shocked that EG wanted to commit to the fight anyway, but not only do they commit to it, they just kind of whiffed on a lot of key things. From the early play, they have vision that Santorin was running down. They can see that PowerOfEvil is here, but they took so much time and they actually turned for the fight instead of running away. Then Jiizuke coming over here, he is not able to get an ultimate off on Bang. He is split from him. Kumo whipping his ultimate on everyone, and Jiizuke using the self ult but not actually dying during it meant he was another easy cleanup there for Solo. So EG really not on the same page in the early minutes of this playoff series. They are not really looking very well put together. FlyQuest is just in an enormous lead now. They're going to grab their second Rift Herald, 2 dragons to 0. They're up a tower. They're up 4,000 gold. FlyQuest feels like they almost already have this one in the bag.
It's looking incredibly likely. They are hugely ahead over in this game. We crest 15 minutes in, and they're up 4,000 gold. That's better than a Cloud9 stack. And they do that for a living, crush early games. This is really impressive stuff by FlyQuest early on. Definitely there are some mistakes on EG's side. Kumo's ulti, if that lands, PoE is dead and doesn't kill Svenskeren, at least not initially. Like, that is a very different fight if you land the ulti on a flashless Viktor. That is a mistake that you cannot make when you're in the championship qualifier. That is a huge one. Kumo does need to shore up these mistakes here. And that said, though, there's still a lot of game to play.
And Jiizuke too, right? You know, if Jiizuke had go back to Bang and actually ulted Bang, who was being taken out by Solo, then maybe that fight can continue on, you know, but these little mistakes add up to big ones, and, you know, you can put yourself in such a deficit that, unfortunately, you know, later on in the game when you're down 5,000-6,000 gold, even if you don't make those mistakes, sometimes it doesn't matter because you're just too far behind. You know, your opponents are just that much more powerful with all the extra gold. You know, FlyQuest aren't quite there yet where they can kind of just play with Reckless Abandon, but they are getting close to it, and they have, you know, pretty strong engage with the Blitz plus Trundle combo. You know, that is pretty powerful. And we talked about it in Champ Select. When you're playing with Blitzcrank, playing from a winning position, it's almost like an entirely different champion, because look at all the vision they have on this bottom side of the map. They have multiple pinks in their opponent's jungle. They have wards everywhere. And when you're the ones with those wards and with all the pinks out on the map denying your opponent's vision, they have to play around these pockets of fog where Blitzcrank can be so damn effective. And you know when you're behind and you walk into that fog, if you get hooked, it's lights out. You're just going to die. And that's where Blitz really thrives.
Yes, he does. He's going to try to thrive yet again. Svenskeren jumps. Oh, that was so close to catching Bang. That would have been lights out. Kumo and Solo going to battle back and forth, but Solo lands some knockups, kites away, and just blast plants out. There's not really a realistic chance for Kumo to win those fights. And now you have yet another battle into the mid lane as Santorin walks in, chunks down the turret. WildTurtle going to land a couple autos there as well, but they are going to wait and still play a little bit of wave clear, play a little bit of defense, zone out the opponents. That's a flash forced out because Jiizuke got the slow and would have landed a double bomb. That is a hook. That is Svenskeren going down. IgNar sets up that kill, and the Misfits player comes out.
Just the Misfits logo from Worlds from a few years ago there. Oh my god, and they still have the Rift Herald, man. And they're grabbing their third dragon at the same time. This is a stomp. And look at Hextech Flash. IgNar's just going to threaten going in. They didn't even need to use the Rift to take down this mid-tier 1. They've knocked down all the outers, so they could even use the Rift for a tier 2 mid or to play like that to try to get even more gold, or even drop it and go elsewhere on the map to try to threaten that. But FlyQuest are now going to be at Soul Point. They're 6,000 gold ahead, and they are fully in the driver's seat here. Oh, that sucks.
Oh, he's got no flash though. This is dead. Turtle, I don't think should have a way to get away. There should not be a chance. He goes down. Bang finds that one. Signs of life maybe for Evil Genius. At least a kill on the board to slow down the bleeding. They don't even really look at the mid lane turret in earnest though. It's just a kill and nothing else. That barely shrinks the gold.
Yeah, I'll give you sign of life. I won't give you signs of life. They don't have much going on. They've got one single solitary kill to their name there. That's going to be something, but yeah, they've got a long road ahead of themselves if they want to be able to battle back. Oh, another hook!
Oh, what a hook! Oh my goodness!
It was blind. He's got the wall hacks. You can see him.
Vanguard where? Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful one. Svenskeren clears out some wards and everything else, but the gold lead's almost 6,000. We are 4 minutes away from Mountain Soul. FlyQuest are, you said they weren't there yet, but they're getting real close to that Reckless Abandon point in this game.
They really are. I mean, they are just smashing this game, and EG have just got to really calm down and collect themselves because they do look somewhat out of sorts here. In game number 1, FlyQuest is looking completely on point. Both the solo laners are enormously ahead. IgNar doesn't seem to be able to miss a hook and now has the Righteous Glory, so his engage potential is just that much higher. You know, he's going to be able to just pretty much run at anyone he sees because they know they can win all fights, and if you hook anyone at this point, there's not really a bad hook. Even hooking in Kumo away from his team, pillaring him and ulting him from Trundle, he's probably just going to flop because he's got 0 Amar and you have a fed Viktor on your squad.
Well, they're going to try through going bottom side. Good flash by Solo, gets away from the ulti. That one's not a miss so much as a good play. and it means that there's no kill picked up on the bottom side. Meanwhile, FlyQuest ready to push up in this top lane. Top 2 is already down, was already injured by the previous Herald, goes up for round 2, and now onto the inhibitor turret itself. That one should be dropped if they spend the time. Jiizuke is the only one here to defend. If Santorin's willing to spend the time, PoE is willing to walk up, and he does so. But now there might be some kind of a re-engage. Jiizuke has to burn his ulti. Yeah, but that is ult for ult, all things considered. That is a trade of equal spells, and it's FlyQuest walking away after killing the turret.
It is, but damn, that damage is frightening. That he can make you ult by himself that quick means that there's no room for error. If you are a split second slow, or if you are blitz silenced, or really anything, you're just gonna die, or your teammate is just gonna die before you can even get that ult off, and that is terrifying right now. You look over at Solo, he has the Death Stance and Black Cleaver here at 20 minutes. Gonna be monstrously strong.
Turtle's coming down, Santorin's on the flank, starts a bit of CC, Zeyzal comes in, look for the ulti, there it comes down, they're gonna turn invulnerable, and that's right after Solo's already killed. 5v4, Taric ulti ends, but again, sign of life, singular for Evil Genius. That was a straight up team fight. Okay, Turtle was out of range for about a second. Yeah. Right? There was a little bit of a mistake there, but end of the day, it's still a kill picked up. IgNar, nice! Kumo! Perfect play, puts in the Bellows Breath, immunes the hook back. That was a nice one. Still some time then, EG, with 18 seconds on Solo's death timer, have time to run around, maybe grab a scuttle, do a little bit around the map.
Bit of overconfidence, I think, there from FlyQuest, because not only was WildTurtle out of range, PowerOfEvil was actually split from the squad, so he wasn't actually much of a part of that fight, and didn't have his ultimate, because he had previously used it on Jiizuke. So, you know, EG were able to section off that fight and have what was essentially a 5-on-3 for a bit there to actually focus down Solo. So FlyQuest do have to make sure they still have numbers when they are looking for these fights, but still fully in control. A minute until that soul would be available for them, and grabbing that is going to be absolutely huge. But you know, for EG, they at least have a strong Kalista. You have 3 kills on the Kalista, you're ahead in farm, you know, 10 CS per minute there or so on Bang. You know, that is looking very good. And when you do have one strong carry, you can utilize that very well when you have the backup of the Taric, of the Zilean. You could speed this guy up, you can make him invulnerable, and you can hope that, you know, Bang and Svenskeren can potentially carry a fight.
All right, looking at the player on the mid lane, IgNar gonna kite back. He's gonna stay safe just there as EG once again trying to show that they can team fight, and the last couple have gone okay. Now Kumo's gonna find Solo, nice bit of crowd control there, lands a pretty good combo, drops him by about 1/3 of his health. Svenskeren gonna find some poke, they find the slow, they will find 2 stuns, and that is decent damage. Now Kumo rears back with the ulti, he's gonna not quite catch anything, and again, that airball means a lot of nothing, and EG will have to walk away. FlyQuest may come in for a bit more though, as IgNar's in the front line. He looks for poke, almost finds it, bombs come down, don't land at anything either. The FlyQuest know they are playing around Mountain Soul, and EG gonna have to probably fight for this one, as once again they look for a little bit of poke, find a little bit of damage towards IgNar, but not a ton. Dragon now alive, and it's gonna be time for one person to go over and start that break.
Yeah, we'll see. FlyQuest battling back and forth here. The Taric heals have been actually a really big deal, as Zeyzal even going for a speed up here. They're gonna engage on PoE, he's caught out.
Big stun combo plus through invulnerable. Chase down an IgNar, one more audible kill, and the flash for Svenskeren finds one. Gets traded back, and he's gonna go down 4v4, and Solo and the rest of the team's ready to re-engage. The health bar's running low rapidly. An ult comes out, but there's no way out for Jiizuke. He's gonna try, but he cannot flash. He will be dropped. That is 2-1. That is a team fight victory now for FlyQuest, but EG sure made them work for it. Problem is, there's no health bars left and no smite left. This is a very easy Dragon Soul pickup for FlyQuest.
Yeah, they've got it, and with that, it feels like most of the hope for EG in this game is now gone. I like the attempt here from EG, though. PowerOfEvil getting very cocky with his positioning. Steps forward, they land the knockup, they land the stun. The Taric ult comes down before anyone on their team dies, but PoE had both stopwatch and flash, so he's able to buy so much time. Flash out after the stopwatch avoided so much of that early damage, and when you're focusing so much of your attention on taking out this one fed Solo member, guess what? Solo is not wasting that time. He was running rampant through the backline. Turtle is untouched, and there's just too many strong members on FlyQuest, so the stopwatch bought time for the rest of the squad to get that done. And now when you're on EG and you're thinking, okay, how can we possibly still win this game? It has to be a pick. And Mountain Soul makes that even more difficult, because everyone is starting with this buffer of a couple hundred extra health that you're now going to have to burst through if you want to get that instant kill at the start of a team fight.
Yeah, the gold lead looks like 6,000, but it plays more like 10,000, with everyone having about 300 extra HP off the Mountain Soul shield. And we're going to see now as FlyQuest can say, all right, we've got all the Dragon objectives done. We speed ran that one, 23 minutes, about as fast as Doom Eternal can be closed out. And now, let's figure out if we can go for Baron next up. As WildTurtle closes down the mid lane, says, okay, we'll catch some more farm. Phantom Dancer, by the way, another 600 points worth of health at level 18 with that shield. That's going to be really massive for him as well. And pretty soon, FlyQuest just get to face roll into their opponents and take down the game.
Yeah, they're looking like they're in such a good spot. PowerOfEvil even just going to pick up the Mage Eyes. He wants that maximum amount of power right now. He knows that they are on the precipice of a game 1 victory here, so instead of just waiting for the death cap, he's just saying, nope, I'm going to spend 1,000 gold now. I already have 10 stacks on that Dark Seal, so we'll be very efficient at that point as long as he is not giving up any easy deaths.
A little bit of damage, a little bit of CC, but Kumo doesn't get any follow-through onto Solo as here comes the re-engage yet again. Svenskeren finds Santorin. 2 autos in, can't even break the Mountain Shield like it did nothing already. IgNar on the front lines, though, puts down the silence. Re-engage comes in, Zeyzal needs the ulti, gets it down just in time. And here comes the rest of the attacks, though. PoE finds one, they're ready to re-engage. The flash forward, Solo finds the knockup. They're gonna go for all the autos. Kumo gonna drop as well. A great hook gonna pull back. Bang, who's gonna be revived, but it times out and nothing happens. Triple kill for PowerOfEvil, goes for the quad with the flash forward. Gonna be claimed now by Santorin. Jiizuke left alone, gonna drop as well. The ace comes through. FlyQuest completely crush evil geniuses.
They knock him down, and they're going to retreat right back to Baron as IgNar flashing the Misfits logo again. PowerOfEvil and IgNar playing together on that team in the past, and getting shades of it here today as FlyQuest is crushing EG in game number 1. That Mage Eyes was at 10 stacks a second ago. It's at 25 now. PowerOfEvil is fed.
Oh, he really is. FlyQuest gonna crest the 10,000 gold lead mark. This is absolutely over. They have demolished this game from start to finish. It definitely started with that bot lane dive at the very beginning, but this fight again, it's a 5-1.
Yeah, this is gold, really, in action, right? And I don't even think, EG is necessarily playing this too bad. They get the Taric ult down on multiple members. They're able to, play it out pretty well. But the problem is they're just not getting anything done because they are so far behind. They're getting pushed out. All their early damage on IgNar wasn't enough to actually kill him off. You can see that the Mountain Soul Shield actually recharged on IgNar as he just backed off during the Taric ult and let that come back up before re-engaging at low health. And meanwhile, Solo has set up to immediately out of that Taric ultimate land the Q flash, 3-man knockup. That allows Turtle to move forward. That allows PowerOfEvil to move forward and get that damage out. And despite the fact that Bang had 2 lives, all that afforded him was a second death.
And now it's time to close this one out. The best of 5 is going to start FlyQuest's way. This is a 99.5 to 0.5% chance victory right here on this one. FlyQuest ready to walk down to the bottom lane. IgNar's got that shield. He's ready to find the next pull. Defensive wards come down to further get rid of the evil genius's vision. Make sure that they're able to walk around through fog, find hooks they're not seen. Just gonna cross some T's, dot some I's. All the outer turrets are gone, ready to crush down the middle and bottom inhibitor turrets.
Now they are looking like they're just in such a good spot right now. PowerOfEvil completed the death cap, 25 stack Mage Eyes. One combo on anyone means they're dead, and the hook lands a Bang.
That's Bang, he's flashing away. There's a dock up on the 2. It's going to be EG trying to re-engage, but Taric comes down far too late. They re-engaged before it came down, and nothing got done. Okay, it's time for FlyQuest to keep the fight going. That's kill number 2. That's going to be kill number 3. Give Turtle the triple. No, it's going to get picked up there by PowerOfEvil. EG always says live evil. Well, so far, 8-0 and 8. He's done nothing but that. Diphless into this game at the full stack of the Jai. Is going to TP back to lane. Gets the Haunted Guys for good measure, and here comes the rest of the siege. 3 dead, 2 left alive. It's going to be a 30-minute victory as FlyQuest go ahead and pad the stats. Jiizuke dies to almost a single spell. Here's the push for WildTurtle, goes for the next kill. Gonna let them run away, but the turrets are going to fall. The next is gonna follow right afterwards, and FlyQuest convincingly take game 1 over Evil Geniuses.
What a performance to start this off, as they're going to pad the KDA a little bit more. FlyQuest just stomped EG. 14,000 gold lead, sub 30-minute win, 4 Dragons to 0, 2 Rift Heralds to 0, 1 Baron to 0. This was just utter domination, and EG are going to have a little bit of a mental reset here going into game number 2, because that one was not even close. There was individual mistakes. There was coordination errors. I do think that they were playing better as a team towards the later stages of the game, but at that point they were so far behind that it no longer mattered. But when it counted in those early fights, they made too many mistakes, and FlyQuest, if they're in this sort of form, you're not going to get to make many mistakes at all at any point of the game if you want to take a team that's looking that good down.
Yeah, felt like it really snowballed off that 6-minute bot lane play where the gank went well, the TPs went badly, and the 3-0 turned into everything else that FlyQuest could have wanted. But like you said, could be a mental reset. There's more to play in this best of 5. We'll see if EG can bounce back. But that does it for game 1. After a quick break, the State Farm NLSS will break down the results from that one, so don't go anywhere.